Next speaker,
Thank you.
Connor Gallagher.
How's it going, everybody? My name's Connor. I build stuff at Cookbook.dev. We kind of aggregate a bunch of smart contracts. What's up? We aggregate a bunch of smart contracts, a bunch of libraries, a bunch of developer tools, and put them all into like one kind of centralized place for Solidity developers. I can speak as a Solidity developer, like finding all the stuff to work with networks and kind of like just hit the ground running. There's always kind of like some friction there. So that was kind of the first thing we set out to solve. After we started like showing Cookbook to people, and especially at hackathons and talking to networks, we kind of realized that the ROI on developer relations in blockchain is like this unknown number. Like nobody knows what it is at all. People dump like millions and millions and millions of dollars into hackathons and into just kind of getting people to exponentialize transaction volume on their chain, which is what Solidity developers do in EVM-based chains. So we kind of asked ourselves, like, what's the best way to approach this? Like, how do we take the tool sets that we have? How do we take our AI assistant? How do we take like the ton of data that we have as far as smart contracts are concerned and networks, and how do we assist developer relations teams in being like far more successful and really understanding like exactly what they're spending and how effective that is. So this is our site. But I kind of wanted to walk you guys through how we kind of create a demo for these teams through our internal tool. So I was just going to put in like base. We'll do a demo for base right now. And then let me just add it up. There we go. Save. Okay. So this generates an API key for me. And my portal has been created. This CMS is available to all the teams and of our partners that have integrated us into their documentation sites. And I can just show you real quick. I'm just going to drop this API key in here. Sorry, it's a little funky doing it with one hand. And I'm just going to say that git push. Sorry, base. Okay. Git push. Sorry, base demo. All right. So, well, that's cooking up in Vercel. I'm just going to show you guys the CMS itself. So what's cool is the first thing that we have here, we haven't used the bot yet, so we can't see, but I'll come back to this. But this is essentially where all the questions are going to come in that are being asked at the documentation site. This is the kind of general appearance. So DevRel teams can come in and kind of customize this and make it look more like their site. They can have a prompt that they put in there. They can add a pretext prompt. They can add suggested questions to start the bot off. And then we're going to click Playground, as well as add base's URL ID, and just save that right now. And so you can see here that base demo is deployed, and I can just come over here and check it out. And you can see Ask Cookbook, our little modal, has popped up, and we have our AI assistant. We have the chain info for base, which basically has everything you need: block explorers, official links, bridges, bounties, grants, faucets, wallets. You can connect your MetaMask here to all of their networks. Total value locked. The metrics are provided by DeFi Llama. And then we have a playground as well, which is kind of like a half IDE. It's really just to, look into our library that we've provided here, which has a bunch of contracts from our site, as well as you can edit the code here, you can compile it, and then you can, of course, deploy it onto testnets or mainnets or whatever you'd like. We also have Open and Remix and Chain ID, and you can download our like custom boilerplates for Foundry, Hard Hat, or Scaffold ETH. So yeah, that's kind of like what the CMS, that's kind of like our product for documentation sites. And as far as the CMS is concerned, you can also, like I said, you can mess with the appearance. You can kind of like update it to make it look more like the site itself. And then a fun thing that you can do is you can really add as many data sources as you want from our library of data sets. So like if you go here, this is our demo for Base as it is right now. And you can see that we have some some loaded questions that their team asked us to, or added in to the CMS themselves. You can see that it's kind of looks a little more like their site, and fits into the background a little bit more. But ultimately, that's that. But ultimately, what we're building right now at Cookbook is a way to kind of aggregate a lot of these questions that come in through Base, or let's just say Manta Network, because they're live partners of ours right now. Uh-oh. And it's frozen. 1 second. Sorry about that.
Got to it.
There we go. So you can see questions that have been asked about an hour ago on Manta. Now, the DevRel team can go through here. They can improve the bot response. They can thumbs up it. They can thumbs down it. And they can also actually go in to their data source and into their library and say, okay, well, I want to add these new sources, or maybe these links are old. They can also refresh their data sets whenever they would like. And these are also on auto refresh every 24 hours. Our scraper and indexer, proprietary indexer runs and repopulates our databases and our vector database with their data. So yeah, that's kind of like the product end to end as it is right now. And on a roadmap coming up, we're going to be taking a lot of the feedback from the overview and pairing it with on-chain data, so we can both see what are the pain points that these networks are having as far as onboarding developers, where exactly is that happening in their documentation, and then on top of that, and more importantly, how is developers visiting their documentation site, how does that translate into on-chain transactions? Like if somebody looks up an ERC20 on Base, using A, B, and C, like, a proxy, or like, I don't know, whatever it may be, where exactly are they doing that? What questions are they asking? And how do we kind of like form this kind of like digital identity of each user to understand, like, what is your common user asking? What are the pain points? And how are you guys able to address this at this point, at your documentations at this point? And our bot itself is really designed to not like hallucinate. It's not really meant to answer questions that it doesn't know the answer to at all, very intentionally. And as far as code generation is concerned, we keep it very, very light, because it's ultimately a liability to a lot of partners. And with Solidity, it's just not, it's not trivial to just like generate code and be like, yeah, deployed on mainnet, good luck, enjoy. We're very specific about like how we retrieve context, how we filter it with metadata, and some of the pretext prompts. Our whole RAG data flow is very proprietary and very concentrated on being extremely specific and minimal, because we've found that makes teams the happiest. But at the same time, having a very deep knowledge of Solidity and the EVM, which we've found other like competitors, like, well, I don't know if I should name any names, but like other people who are doing this in the Web3 space, they are usually for both Web3 and Web2, so their knowledge is very iffy at best. And that's where like a lot of our robust data sets like come in handy quite a bit. So yeah, that's kind of the product end to end. That's kind of the roadmap for us. I'm trying to think. Yeah. But we're Cookbook.dev. That's pretty much what I have for you guys. If you guys want to open it up for questions right now, does that work?
All right. Any questions? Why too? So about how
how advanced do I need to be to dive in and start using this? Because it seems like a pretty advanced tool. So where do I have to be in my process to use it?
Well, as far as the website or the documentation, you really could just hit the ground running. Like, I always tell people this. When I started Solidity deving years ago, if Cookbook existed, this would have moved a lot faster for me. The thing that I love about our bot, especially on our site, is each contract is like very strictly its own context for that particular bot. So it knows it in and out. It is provisioned with just information on that particular contract and that particular situation, and any sort of EVM versions, any networks or EVM versions that particular contract is using, like, it knows all about that. And that's super, super tricky when you're first starting, is understanding the nature of the EVM, different opcodes that are available on Ethereum versus Base, people who don't use push zero, for instance. But yeah, so I think you don't need to know much. Honestly, we could get you deploying an ERC20 in less than 10 minutes.
Thanks. Also, what LLM are you using under the hood?
What's that?
What LLM are you using under the hood?
Oh, GPT-4o. Yeah. Right now.
Awesome. Yeah. So I guess when I was looking at it, you have the Cookbook.dev, which is like for the developers.
That's right. Yeah.
And then now this is like the CMS. So this would be.
Yeah. So thanks for the question. That's a really good question, actually. So Cookbook.dev is our free and always will be free product. It's for devs. Like our saying is LFC, let's freaking cook. So we are all about developers. We build from the developer back to us, and not the way around, not the other way around ever. And we don't plan on charging them. What I showed you with the CMS, that's attached to deployments. Like, I could go to like Manta right now. I'll just go to Manta Network, and you can see that's us on their live site, Ask Manta AI. And so this is a suite of tools we call Cookbook Onboard. And so Cookbook Onboard is meant to be, the entry point, I suppose, is like a docs bot kind of thing. But the real product is like a DevRel suite. It's really like trying to get networks to truly understand, okay, so this is what people understand, this is what people don't understand, and this is how it translates to on-chain transactions. This is how it translates at the end of the day to the volume that transactions are coming in and the worth of the actual network altogether, because Solidity developers are what exponentialize transactions on blockchains. That's EOAs are great, and people are like, oh, when we adopt consumers, like when consumerism comes to blockchain, like, it'll be a whole new level. But truly, like right now, the users are devs, and so yeah, that's kind of our thesis. And we're not looking to replace DevRels. We're not looking to do any of that. So yeah, long-winded answer, but this is our DevRel suite, which is Cookbook Onboard, and its kind of entry point is the docs bot. And then our free product is Cookbook.dev, which is for all developers to use whenever they would like.
Got it. So it's like the extension or the I guess like the bots is then on their front page website, and then that's how you're getting the like inbound questions and stuff like that.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And it's also how like DevRel can just start really understanding their users on a deeper level. For sure.
Awesome.
Thank you for talk, but if to be honest, I lost a little bit in the beginning. So when you said smart contract and provided all this information, can you please describe more use cases of your product? I want to better understand what's the point of all of this.
So use cases for our product as far as what's concerned.
Customers. So I'm doing this something. What kind of problem it solve?
Ultimately, what this product is for smart contract devs. It is very much for smart contract devs. I'm not sure if I'm understanding your question.
I know what is smart contract, but describe me use case. So I agreed with this guy about something. So we decided, okay, I do something for you, you will pay me, and we put this information in smart contract. It's how I understand smart contract. So it is use case. So I said, I'm done part of my work, pay me. So, and he said, yes, work is done. I click submit and some cryptocurrency put in my...
Oh, so I'm asking what are the use cases for smart contracts?
Yes.
Okay. Different question. I got you. I mean, that's a really, really big answer in my book, just because I'm a nerd for smart contracts, but they could be used in so many different ways. Smart contracts obviously are an incredibly robust financial tool, which you pretty much just described there. But they're also used to kind of, one of my favorite things that are developing right now is like kind of like a way to have an encrypted permission on different services. Like I think with Telegram mini apps especially, like there are all these cool little apps coming out right now where you can buy like an NFT that's not like a piece of art or something like that, but it's more like a country club card, right? And like imagine if you could buy an NFT that got you into like the Silicon Valley Telegram, and like, could like chat with Zuckerberg and like all those other guys. Like I think that's a really cool use case for it. But honestly, yeah, you're right. Like financial primitives, like new exotic financial primitives, that's the most exciting part about cryptocurrency for sure. And I think that products like this are really interesting because you have a lot of people in TradFi who are truly interested in authoring smart contracts. I've talked to a bunch of them like in hackathons in New York and stuff. And there's actually this one guy from Goldman Sachs that told me he used Cookbook to like basically learn Solidity in like less than a month for a project at work. So what I think is interesting is like Solidity is so weird and niche that like products like this are great because maybe you don't want to learn Solidity super deeply. Maybe you don't want to spend a lot of time doing that. Maybe you're a Python guy and that's what you've always been doing, or you're Rust or whatever. Like products like this allow you to kind of like just get through the pain points of understanding like how to build, how to deploy, the overall concepts, and just kind of hit the ground running. So you have your back end deployed to the blockchain, and then you can just go back to what you're familiar with.